Hello everyone, TMan978. Welcome to another TMan's How To. In this video, I'm going to be taking Transformers Collaborative X-Men Ultra Expanse from jet mode to robot mode and back to jet mode again. If you want to hear my opinions, I've filmed a completely separate chill review. Link in the description, link at the end of the video. I'd appreciate it if you watched that if you didn't. But anywho, let's get this started. First thing we want to do is get this shut. We can move these wheel up or fake landing gear up. Take this panel, bring that out. Take this panel and bring that out. It should give us access, or basically there's a peg right here that this is pressed up against. Push it down and this should be able to get out of there, but we might want to move the feet like this. Bring it down, start moving it out like this. Basically these hips are very extremely tight on mine. I imagine it will be that way for you. But basically we need to open this panel up right here, which will loosen all that up. Open this up, which will loosen all this up. Now while we have it right here, make sure to flip that down right here. And we can, no, just let these dangle how they're going to be dangling, but make sure you move that right there because it's going to get in the way later. Now we can go ahead and move this. Yeah, get this up. Yeah, there we go. Bring this out, rock it down into this position right here. Get this up and rock it down into that position. This wing comes off easily. I'm going to leave it here because it's going to drive me up the wall. But separate this, unpeg this, basically open it the same way. Straighten the leg out, rotate this around, and now this peg that I just pulled out of there that was hard to get out, you need to shift that down and peg it into here where it will be hard to get out later. Rotate this panel around, and there are two peg holes right there with these two pegs. We need to shut this basically like that, and there's a hinge right here that needs to come up here, and then we can close these two things into those holes right there. So now, hopefully, I knew it. Here's what happened, and I'm not going to cut this out. But before we get that down, this needs to be right here. Get that up, shut this. And now basically we can rock the hip forward, rotate it, and bring the leg down. And at this point, it should be okay to put this wing back on that doesn't want to stay on, and lock it there. I complain about that in my review, but here you are right here. If you didn't see my review, that's a preview of one of my complaints with the figure. Pull that out. This part is a little bit more difficult to unsnap, but take that out, rotate it. This isn't the difficult side I was thinking about. It's this part. Rotate this. And what's making this a little bit hard for me, the joints in the knees and the hips are very tight. But clamp that into place. Make sure this wing is bent this way. Bring it like that and clamp it in. Now we can bring this forward bring that down, bring this around, and we can bring the leg forward, or the wing forward right there. And everything down here should be done, basically. Up here, what I'm gonna do is kind of loosen that up right there. Go ahead and I'm gonna shut this now. Basically, we can go ahead and bring that down into that position right there. Up here, this is all tabbed together. I'm gonna untab it from the top of the jet right here, and go ahead and just bring this down, bring that down, bring that down, and this right here can flip this way and smash up against the arm right there. It almost feels like you're gonna break it, but you're not. There we go with that. Now this stuff back here, they show you differently in the instructions, but what I'm gonna do is like separate this. Now we can push kind of down on that so we can get this out of the way, get that out of the way. Go ahead and do this, bring it basically into this position. And before we do anything with anything else, I'm going to unplug this and unplug that. All right, here's a tough step. We need to get these angled in such a way where we can get it angled like that, which will then in turn let us be able to turn this down. Then when that gets down like this, we need to angle it around again so that it can be up like this, which will let all of this get flat, and then we can peg this onto the peg on his back. After you do that, we can lift all this up and peg this into an area. Where is it? That right here needs to go into this right there. And now everything should be flush and shut. Basically, once you do all that, he is a robot. We can move these down so they're less visible. Well, yeah. I'll show off his accessories and how you need to put them together in the actual review. Reverse transformation, you guessed it, we got to do all of that in reverse. So I'm going to unplug this stuff right here and just basically just leave that hanging around. Then we can unplug this, bring this up, basically let this orient it in such a way that we can make it clear his shoulders right here. And we can go ahead here and put that together. We can move these landing gear out the way, unplug this, which will allow us to do this, and put that up like that. Shut this into this orientation. There's a little notch down there that it needs to get over, and then we can push this down right there, and there's some pegs that go into that to keep that into place. The cockpit can be straightened out, and there you go with that. Up here, we can go ahead and lift this up over his face and lift this up like that. Or maybe don't put that up, just leave it like this for a second. The hands, we can flip them back up like this, flip that back up like that. I believe these, I'm gonna have to figure this out when I get there. I always forget which direction they need to be up. But basically we can lift up the shoulders like this, bring them up like that, flip things in like this, rotate that so the hands can basically come together. We can lock that together, and this needs to rotate like that, and that needs to rotate like this. So all of that's together. And now we can lift this up and put these two pegs where they need to be. And get some pegs that go into the back of the forearms right there. But they may fight you to the bitter end, so don't let it drive you too crazy, but try to guide it to where it needs to be right here, right now. The legs. The legs. The legs. Anyway, we need to lift them up like that. Kind of get it out to the side. Lift them up like this. Get it out to the side. Now what I'm going to do is detach this panel from this side. Detach that panel from that side. Bring this out of the way. And getting this out, highly difficult. I'm gonna try to get some leverage to pull that out. But it is definitely freaking tough to get that out of there. This tool I'm using is called a spudger. If you don't see a link for a spudger in the description, tell me in the comments. But basically, once we do that, we can rotate this around and then click that thing I just pulled out into there. Now we need to rotate the leg around, and this needs to kind of be angled in that direction. Lift this up to meet that, and I guess we can go ahead and lift this up and hinge it like that. And just like going to robot mode, we need to make sure that this is flipped that way first. Now we can kind of get an angle like this and bring that down like that. Now this is rather freaking difficult, and we'll probably have to save some of this to the end, but this knee needs to be bent like that right there. This needs to shut first, and then we need to peg this on top of this little piece of plastic right there. All right, I did it. Now we can shut this, bring the wing like that, and push the foot up like that. And yeah, everything is in the right place right there. Let me attempt to do that a little bit more smooth over here. One thing that's inaccurate is his waist is twisted. The waist needs to be straight, and this little peg right there goes into where his butt would be. But let's detach this and detach that already came loose. We can straighten out that for now. Detach the back part of the legs, and I'm gonna try to do something different without spudger. Lift it up here and kind of force my fingers up under there. Luckily this is made out of good plastic. I can't do it. I did it once the first time, but I'm not gonna drive myself crazy. Get that out of there. That's a tough peg. It's a good thing it's tough because it won't be loose in robot mode. All the other stuff is loose, unfortunately. Some of the other stuff I mean, but rotate this and bring it up here to match. Wiggle this over like that. Now we need to bend the knee, kind of like this. These joints are tight. That is part of my problem. Make sure that this wing right here is shut, or whatever you call this part of the jet. I know there are some anal people out there. Now we can shut this panel before we start trying to get it into place over here onto that. Then we can make sure that that's bent like that. Shut this, get that way. And basically make sure that these are in place. These are the main two things that don't want to stay in place. Make sure everything else is attached. This came loose right there. Sticking my finger under there to get it back under there. And I am rocking things to make sure everything is lining up. These thrusters are actually adjustable. But yeah, your main issues are gonna be keeping these pinned together and bumping into these wings, making it fall. But basically it's back into a jet. You have access to your landing gear and all that, and the weapon storage and all that I show off in the main review. But here he is, all transformed. If this helped you, click the like button. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, TMan 978 out of here. Click the videos. Click the videos, baby. Click the videos. You should really click these videos. Click the videos. Click those videos, baby. Click the videos. You really should click those videos. Click that shit.